Is the Thunderus Therian form going to be worth your time to raid hard for it to get the 296 XL candy or use it in PvP Go Battle League? I don't know, but we're gonna check it out right now. So with all that said, let's jump right in. Welcome back, my trainer club. Let me know in the comments below, how are you guys feeling about the Thunderus Therian form in Pokemon Go? Are you guys excited for it? Have you got your shiny? Drop in the comments and let me know, and hit a thumbs up on this video if you appreciate my content. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you do want any more raid battles, please check the pinned comments below like I talked about in the counter guide, because it's gonna be a great place to get you free raids. And if you wanna get into the Patreon and get more exclusive raids, we are also having a contest, and there's gonna be a lot of activity during this Thundurus as well as the Landorus coming in Pokemon Go. So today we're gonna check out the Thunderus Therian form. Is it gonna be worth your time and resources to raid hard for it beyond just getting the shiny? Let's check it out right now. So this Pokemon is going to be a flying as well as an electric type Pokemon. It is going to max out at 4,137. It's gonna have an attack of 295 at rank 31, which is quite impressive. And then as far as its defense, it's gonna be rank 161, which is ranked 380, which is definitely the weakness of this Pokemon. And then we have a stamina of 188 that's going to be ranked 287. So we have a slightly problematic point here that the defense and the stamina is going to bring down the value of this Pokemon when it has an attack so high, unfortunately, because it just can't last long enough to do as much damage. It doesn't mean it doesn't do a lot of damage, but when you do see that, you kind of get a little bit, hopefully it can do enough damage in the time alive to make up for it. And as far as the Game Press ranking, it's going to be considered a tier 1 ranking. And then as far as the Great League, it's going to be a 0. As far as the Ultra and the Master League, is going to be a 1.5 out of a 5. So this Pokemon is going to be an electric and flying type, which means it's only going to have 2 weaknesses, which is definitely impressive, of rock as well as ice. And it's going to resist bug, fighting, flying, grass, ground, as well as steel. So pretty good resistances right there. And since it is a flying and electric type, electric is going to resist electricity. So it is actually only going to be neutral to electricity, which is definitely positive for flying types. And then as far as the moveset on this Pokemon, it's going to get Volt Switch and Bite. Volt Switch being an okay move, and Bite being a semi-decent move for PvP. So that's definitely not going to be an attacker move. And as far as the charge moves, as far as its electric ones, it's going to get Thunder and Thunderbolt. The one downside to this Pokemon right here is that it does not get Wild Charge. Wild Charge is going to be the premier attacker moveset. So that unfortunately is going to hold this Pokemon back a little bit. But it also gets Focus Blast, which is going to be more geared towards a PvP type move, as well as the Sludge Wave. So with this Pokemon, let's start off checking out it against itself in DPS times TDO, damage per second times total damage output, to see where it does sit as an attacker. So let's check it out. The Thunderus Therian form best moveset is going to be Volt Switch and Thunderbolt at a DPS times TDO combination of 2,560, Bite Thunderbolt at 2,180, Volt Switch and Thunder 1342, Bite Thunder 1306, Volt Switch Focus Blast 1230, Bite Focus Blast 1221. And then if we look at the next line, we're looking at the incarnate form of the Thundurus with Thunder Shock and Thunder. The best moveset for that one is 1104 in comparison to the Thunderus Therian form at 2560. So as far as it against its other form, it is obviously a much better choice. However, that doesn't mean that it is going to be a premier attacker. So now we're going to stack it up against the electric category to see where it does sit, because being an all electric type Pokemon with no flying moves, it only has really one spot to shine as a meta rate attacker. Sitting at the top electric category, we have Shadow Raikou with Thunder Shock and Wild Charge at 3908. So remember that, 3908, you already know where it does sit. Mega Manectric at 3780. Then we have Shadow Electivire at 3406, Shadow Zapdos at 3381, and then we have Zekrom with Charge Beam and Wild Charge at 3207. So if you do check it out, in the top categories, we do have Wild Charge populating all the top movesets, and since Zekrom does get it, with 3207, that is going to be the first non-shadow, non-mega attacker in the game. So what we always want to take into account is we have shadows, we have megas, and then we have non-shadows to make the second option, right? Because we have the ability to put one mega into our parties, and then we have the ability to put some shadows, but sometimes the shadow legendaries are limited, and we don't get the chance to get more than 1 or 2 as of right now for most of them. So for the Raikou, we can't make an entire party of Shadow Raikous, but in the next spot, we're gonna have Zekrom as the number 1 at 3207. And since we did see that the Thundurus was at 2500, let's check to see where it does sit for one of the top non-shadow, non-mega attackers. Then we have Shadow Magnezone, which is more prevalent at 3060 with Spark and Wild Charge. Mega Ampharos coming in, which is outshined by the Mega Manectric. Then we have Shadow Luxray at Spark and Wild Charge at 2620. 25. And then in spot number 9, which is going to be Volt Switch and Thunderbolt at 2560, but it's actually going to be the second placed electric type attacker. So with it being the second place electric type attacker, you guys kind of have to weigh into the account that would you rather have a couple Zekrom powered up because it is premier over this Pokemon, or would you have multiple of different types of Pokemon? Being that the Zekrom is about 700 points stronger than is the Therian Thundurus. And neither of these Pokemon will be weak to electricity, so that is one positive of them. They will both be weak to ice, and the Therian Thundurus is going to be weak to rock, and the Zekrom is going to be weak to dragon, as well as fairy and ground for this specific Zekrom. And that's the one thing that's great about the Therian Thundurus, is because it can take certain placings because it is not going to be weak to ground because it is paired with the flying, which is going to resist ground. So as far as a meta attacker standpoint, you do have to weigh this into account. And what I would suggest is that yes, it is relevant. Would I suggest that you guys need the 296 XL Candy for a meta attacker raid standpoint? Probably not. I would much rather you ration your scenarios into the Zekrom than for the Thundurus Therian form. It's just what I would recommend because neither of them are super weak to anything, and being that it is much stronger, why not have a couple stronger Pokemon than have a couple of the other ones? Which then is going to lead us to maybe it is going to be relevant in the Go Battle League. Maybe we can use this as a standpoint to get the 296 XL Candy and then also use it in that standpoint. Am I saying not to get Raid Candy to be able to power it up to level 40? No. But taking it to that extra standpoint and going all the way to level 50 is a whole different use of resources, and that's what I'm going to caution you guys away from. So use this Pokemon as, yes, it's a new shiny, yes, it is a raid Pokemon. Is it worth to max it to level 50? Probably not, especially if you have Zekrom XL Candy that you can use instead. So from PvP standpoint, in the Ultra League, it's going to be ranked 446, but maybe it does well in the Master League because remember, it is a legendary. For the Incarnate form, which is not this one, it's going to be ranked 83. For the Therian form, it's going to be ranked 115 in XL, with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, as well as Focus Blast. So the Incarnate form is doing better. But just remember guys, when you do raid for this Pokemon, they both share candy and they both share XL candy. So you have to take that into account that maybe you have a good Incarnate form, you didn't get enough XL candy. A great way to get that would be to raid this Therian form because they are both counting for one pot of candy. And then in the Master League Classic, the Incarnate does get a bump to rank 70, but the Therian form falls all the way to rank 173, which then leads me to what do we do to this Pokemon? What do I suggest doing? Number one is treating it as a raid Pokemon, using it for XL candy, using it for a shiny. But do I suggest you guys go super gung-ho and go after this Pokemon to max it out like it's a must-have? Not really, guys. I suggest you get the shiny, maybe hunt for the 100% IV, have fun raiding it because it is a new shiny, it is semi-relevant, it is the second best meta attacker standpoint, but if you are rationing and you want to have the best electric attackers, sticking towards the Shadow Raikou, the Shadow Zapdos, the Shadow Electivire, and then using Zekrom as the non-Shadow Pokemon as the only electric Pokemon that you would go after. That is going to be my suggestion. I would say in certain scenarios that this Pokemon could be a better attacker if it's going to have better resistances and it's not going to be weak to other moves that the Zekrom might be weak to, but at the same time, Zekrom is going to be superior in delivering damage. So that's where we sit at second best. Use your discretion. That is my recommendation. I appreciate you guys being here as always. To all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.